Hello, I'm Forrester and welcome to my channel. In this video I'll be reviewing the Star Citizen ship, the Anvil Aerospace Valkyrie. Star Citizen is currently in public alpha test, with the Anvil Valkyrie as one of the flyable ships. As the Star Citizen ship modules are inexperienced in themselves, I thought it might be helpful to review a selection in turn. The Valkyrie is billed as a multi-crew ship, one which you could bring a group of friends along with you, tailored towards combat, specifically as a dropship / gunship. I've split this review into 5 sections, starting with a ship tour and deck flow, assessing combat performance, reviewing handling and visibility, looking at the operating and purchasing costs, and finally summarising. I've included timestamps in the video description to help navigate to each part of the review. Part 1. Ship Tour and Deck Layout. As medium-sized ships go, the Valkyrie is very easy to navigate. Ordinarily, access to the ship will be via the ramp at the rear, although is also possible through the 2 side gunner positions. The ramp leads to the large cargo bay. I call it a cargo bay for lack of a better term. I suppose really it's a rover bay, as at the moment it's not possible to load cargo. There's a neat little deployable stopper, a little like a jet blast deflector. I've no idea what the purpose of it is, but it looks awesome and gives a nice visual cue for loading a Tumbril Cyclone. On either side of the cargo bay, facing slightly to the rear, is a door fitted with a size 1 door gun. This is similar to what you'd see from many helicopter gunships and is a neat feature. It's also possible to enter and exit the Valkyrie through the hatchways when landed. Moving towards the front of the Valkyrie, there are 2 doors, one flanking each side of the ladder to the cockpit. These doors lead to a seating area for Marines, with a total capacity of 20 sat in these bays. That's a very substantial number of seats for transporting people. At the end of each of the seated compartments is access to the lower turret. Moving back to the cargo bay through either of the Marine seating areas, access to the upper deck is via a ladder. At the top of the ladder is the crew area, with visibility over the cargo ramp. The crew area has 5 beds for the crew, as well as a food machine integrated into the wall. The seat for the upper turret is also accessed here, just behind the ladder. Off to the port side is a bathroom and shower area. Moving towards the cockpit, flanking either side of the walkway are 2 remote turrets, which each operate a single size 3 gun on the wingtips. Finally, at the front of the Valkyrie is access to the pilot's seat, and the addition of a security door is a nice touch. So the deck layout is fairly straightforward. I suppose the concept is that the lower deck is for the troops and vehicle being transported, and the upper deck for the dedicated crew. It's a very straightforward flow and easy to direct people who aren't familiar with the Valkyrie to find any of the crew positions that they would need to man. Part 2. Combat Performance. The Valkyrie brings a lot of firepower to the party. It scales with more crew members, peaking at a crew of 3, ramping down to a crew of 5, with lower benefit to a crew of 7. The pilot has access to a nose turret with 2 size 2 weapons. The upper turret and lower chin turret are both armed with 2 size 3 weapons and pack the largest punch. After those 3 slots are filled, each of the 2 remote turrets adds another size 3 weapon to the total firepower. And once crewed beyond 5, the 6th and 7th person could man the size 1 guns on the door of the Valkyrie. What's really good about the Valkyrie, at least for my preference, is the default loadout of ballistic repeaters. They pack a lot of firepower, and firing all of the guns feels like a very powerful experience. The fire arcs are good, including the nose and chin turrets when flying in atmosphere. Defensively, the shields are fairly strong, perhaps not as strong as you might hope for a ship that could theoretically carry 25 plus people into battle, but they are by no means weak, and the ship can take a reasonable amount of punishment. One thing to watch out for is where targeting information is unavailable for turret gunners. This is particularly relevant when engaging ground targets, as the lack of a lead indicator whilst the Valkyrie is moving around the battlefield takes some getting used to. Thankfully, the ballistic guns negate the impact of this to some degree, as the traces are easy to follow. A pretty neat feature, albeit a little gimmicky, is the ability to deploy ground vehicles from the bay at the back. We had a lot of fun throwing a Cyclone out at full speed, guns blazing, whilst the Valkyrie was hovering overhead providing fire support. Sadly, that's of little combat value, but scores very highly in the having fun element. Part 3. Handling and Visibility. All in all, the Valkyrie handles okay. It takes a little getting used to, as the inertia it carries through pointing the nose can sometimes cause an overshoot, but the gimbal on all of the turrets compensates the impact in the combat setting. What's really nice in the pilot seat is the incredible top speed and good acceleration. The large thrusters feel very powerful. Combined with VTOL or hover mode, makes for a very forgiving in-atmosphere flying. If it ever feels like sinking vertically, kicking the thrusters into VTOL mode, rotating the large engines, and then strafing gives an immediate response and helps keep the Valkyrie flying. The visibility is also great, whether through takeoff and landing, or combat, or in-atmosphere nap of the earth flying. As the cockpit is so far out to the front of the ship, it's easy to get a feel for where the front of the Valkyrie sits, and the cockpit also offers good views above and below. Part 4. Operating costs. Fuel costs are very reasonable, with quantum fuel being fairly cheap and hydrogen fuel only really racking up any meaningful expense if there's been a lot of atmospheric flight. Ammunition is probably the big expense for the Valkyrie, as the ballistic cannons can chew through this fairly quickly. That said, if running any kind of combat mission, the cost is more than offset. It's a shame that the cargo bay doesn't allow for cargo running, as that makes the Valkyrie very limited to a combat role, and even then not as specialised as some other options. At $375 USD for a pledge package, or 4.5 million Alpha UEC in-game, it's quite an expensive outlay for a single-purpose ship. As far as upgrades go, the shields, power plant and cooler are all at a reasonable spec when stock. It's possible to upgrade them, but I'd not see a huge benefit from doing so. The quantum drive is not fantastic, and is worth an upgrade to the XL1 for about 95,000 credits from Port Olisar, as even combat missions invariably involve quantum driving around the system. Part 5. The verdict. I'm surprising myself by the verdict, which is, I don't think it's worth it. The reason I'm surprised is because I've had a lot of fun in the Valkyrie. It has good combat performance, but I think that's the problem. It only does one thing, combat, and maybe ground assault if you wanted to categorise that differently. For the same price, it would be possible to buy a Constellation or a Caterpillar, which are more viable for running other types of mission and probably for making more cash. I hope that in the future different gameplay options will be available for the Valkyrie. For example, if the cargo bay became able to actually transport cargo, it would add a lot more utility to the ship. Or perhaps if transporting vehicles became a route to profit, although again, I suspect that other more dedicated craft would probably do it better. All in all, it's a sad verdict, as I think it's possible to have a lot of fun with the Valkyrie. But if I'm honest, after weighing up what it can do and can't do, that's my honest opinion. I hope that you found this ship review useful. I'd love to do more of these in future, so if you enjoyed the video, please press the like button and subscribe to be notified of future content. Please also share any of your own thoughts on the Valkyrie in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll hear from me in the next video.